season. But an ominous cloud hovered over that camp in the early heats in Kansas City. And quick as lightning, Steve David in T+ took the checkered flag. 4 other drivers aren't about to cool down from their heat wins. A battle storm is brewing. And the forecast today, thunder on the Ohio. The 1995 Hooters Unlimited Hydroplane Series, competing for the Eagle Snacks O'Doul's High Point Championship. Today, from Evansville, Indiana, Pontiac thunder on the Ohio. Hello, everyone. I'm Dick Crippen, and welcome to the pits in Evansville, Indiana, where the topic today happens to be last week in Kansas City, Missouri. You see, the Unlimited Racing Commission tried a new format of racing, and it really produced a lot of winners. As a matter of fact, we had 7 winners in 7 different races. The only repeat winner on the day was this boat, the T+, driven by Steve David. In order to do that, he had to win the championship round at the very end of the day. What they've done basically is invert the field. They've taken the fastest boats in the first set of heats, and they give them last lane choice in the second set of heats, and it kind of evens the playing field to some of the other boats. Now, the other big topic today happens to concern drivers and some changes that have occurred there. One of the biggest ones is right next door where Steve Montgomery's standing by.
That's right, Dick. I'm in the Budweiser camp, and the story here really started last week in Kansas City, where Chip Hanauer had a tough day, re-injuring a back and some ribs that had been a problem since last year. He did qualify this boat over 164 miles an hour, fastest in the field. Then he and Bernie Little met, and Bernie Little made this announcement early yesterday.
Chip is he's in a lot of pain, and he's having nervous spasms, and riding in the boat yesterday and the day before, we've decided that we would put Mark Evans in the boat, and Chip, it's his idea, it's his seat, and he recommended that we do that this morning, and so that's what we did.
A few minutes later, I caught up with a very excited Mark Evans.
It hasn't quite set in yet. I'm trying to stay calm and so I can do the job in the boat. And so after the race, we'll let it all hang out, so to speak. But for now, trying to stay my normal calm, cool, and collect, you know, and just get through the weekend.
So Chip Hanauer becomes a spectator at an unlimited race, something he might not be very good at. Hasn't done that much. Chip, I've known you for a long time. For you to give up the ride, something had to hurt pretty bad.
Yeah, I'm not comfortable, and if I can't give 100%, I have to think about the team and put somebody in who is 100%. So, you know, my job is to help the team win, and today that means I have to step aside. Not easy to do.
Mark Evans, very excited, but a very capable driver.
Oh, I think Mark's more than capable. You know, I think if I was a betting man, I think the smart money is still on Budweiser. I think he's going to do fine.
Mark Evans had been scheduled to drive for Fred Leland. Is there an opening in that camp? Let's check with Jim Hendrick.
Well, Steve, Fred Leland was not about to be left high and dry with no driver for his number 2 boat, the Wellness Plan. In fact, the contingency plan was put in motion back in Kansas City. We talked to Fred about that earlier.
He wanted to know if they needed Mark, if I would be willing to give him up. And I thought in the best interest of the sport and for Mark's future that, you know, he should have a shot at driving the Bud if they needed another driver. Bernie brought in Jimmy King to drive for me in the event that he needed Mark to drive the Bud.
Mark Evans has been the driver of the Wellness Plan the last couple of races. Now Jimmy King takes over. Jimmy, you have drawn a tough heat.
Yes, I have. I'm real pleased with the boat that they've given me with the Wellness Plan and Fred Leland. But this first heat that I've drawn is a definite welcome back to Unlimited Racing.
Strangely enough, Jimmy King has been a backup driver for Mark Evans last year and a couple of years before that for Chip Hanauer.
Taking a look at the Eagle Snacks O'Doul's Unlimited High Points coming into this race, Miss Budweiser and the Wellness Plan both in the top 5, but all of these 5 boats are in the first heat, which is what Jimmy King was referring to when he talked about the competition he debuts against in the Wellness Plan. Here's another guy that'll be in a new boat, and that's Mark Evans. As we heard from him, very excited. He'll get aboard the Red Rocket. The rest of the teams are getting ready. We'll be back with our first race in a moment. Welcome back to Pontiac Thunder on the Ohio. Unlimited's on the course right now. As we look out there, we can see the boats lining up. Let's get an idea of who's where.
The top qualifier gets lane 1, and Chip Hanauer qualified the boat, but then stepped out. Mark Evans is in lane 1. Steve Woomer's Smokin' Joe's, driven by Mark Tate, in lane 2. In lane 3, Dave Vilwalk and Fred Leland's Pico's American Dream. In lane 4, it'll be Steve David, the winner of the last event in the T-Plus engine treatment. In lane 5, on the outside, it will be Jimmy King, the rookie, in the wellness plan.
All 5 very fast boats, and they are coming down side by side on the Ohio River. There they go. The start is underway, and the boats holding lane as they go into turn number 1. The Miss Budweiser is in the lead. The yellow and purple Smokin' Joe's in second. T-Plus is trailing in third at the moment. But there you can see Smokin' Joe's pulling up on the outside. It's going to be even Steven as they pass the Kentucky side.
A baptism of fire for Mark Evans for the first time at competition in the Miss Budweiser on the inside down that back chute, and he has the lead.
Mark Evans is really holding his position. Now, this boat is really one that you have to feel like a glove, and we've known that from Chip Hanauer. You can see Mark Tate is trying to take advantage of him and move up on the outside. Who can blame him? You got to do everything you can to win these races, and at this point, Chip Hanauer and owner Bernie Little looking on from the sidelines. A little extra applause there from Mark Evans. Rightfully so. He's doing a bang-up job. He's not backing off at all on this boat.
And Dick, he's about 4 miles an hour faster than the Smokin' Joe's. Mark Evans, as he holds the inside lane once again on lap 2 of 3.
And he has the advantage, because we say so many times the inside boat has the advantage with a shorter course. Mark Evans doing a masterful job. Seems to have taken a bit of control in this race. That doesn't mean Mark Tate's backing off at all, but Mark at this point has to be considering whether or not it's really worth running all out to get first place. Meanwhile, back in third, it's the T-Plus, then the Pico American Dream. All of these boats extremely fast on the course. Jimmy King is trailing the field in the wellness plan. He's a guy getting his feet wet in that boat for the very first time, too.
Somebody asked me the other day about the tail section of these hydroplanes. Can they run without a tail? Yes. Would it be as steady? No. The tail controls the attitude of the nose, up or down. And if the tail is off, they have no control over that situation. Now, the tail is not adjustable. It's adjusted on the dock and set out there. If they have to make an adjustment, it has to be in between heats, whereas the front wing, the canards, can be adjusted.
Here's the finish of the race, the first race of the day, and it looks like Mark Evans in his first ride in the Miss Budweiser is going to get the checkered flag. There it is. He gets it. A happy Budweiser crew. Bernie Little, look at him. He's beside himself, a new driver, and they take a win.
And there's the way our Fruit of the Loom scoreboard shows after Heat 1A, the order of finish.
And the man leading the pack right there, Mark Evans. Yes, he is happy. A good ride for Mark. He had done well in the Miss Wellness Plan. Now moves over to the Miss Budweiser and is doing a great job. Let's get some words of wisdom from Mark and Bernie Little.
Mark, how do you like being the fastest guy out there?
Oh, boy, I love it. I think I could get used to this. I always hope that Chip's injuries get better, but we'll see. Good run, man.
Well, Jimmy King was 5th out of 5, but I'll tell you what, he'll get lane choice in the second heat. Heat 1B will be coming up in just a moment. Welcome back to the banks of the Ohio River in Evansville, Indiana. The divers, an important part of our team. Let's go down to the docks and Steve Montgomery.
Well, guys, here's a nice, cool job that's unique to this race course. Because of the current in the Ohio River, they have rescue divers right in the water, helping to park the boats. And as you can see here, helping to launch them. Make sure the current doesn't sweep the boat away.
Mike Hanson drives the Jasper engines and transmission boat owned by the town of Madison, Indiana, that will host the Unlimiteds in just a week. It's just upriver. He's a resident of that town and in the summertime a local hero.
To have the honor to drive the local boat is a real honor. It's a lot of work as well. It's a tough week, the Madison Regatta is for us, because, you know, there's a lot of responsibility that I have to do to keep the whole community happy, as well as try to run a race boat. So it's a hectic week, but I wouldn't miss it for the world. We'd have folded the tents last year if it wasn't for the whole community. We sat out all but the Madison race last year, and it was the community that made it happen. We basically got $60,000 in donations to start up the race team just for that one race boat, and it also gave us enough money to keep the doors of the shop open all winter long so we could keep on trying to find a national sponsor to put us on the water this year, and it enabled us to get Jasper for this 4-race series here in the Midwest and made it possible for us to be here this weekend.
The Jasper sponsorship has fueled a new energy in the team.
Well, when you sit out a year and you get back on the water, there's a lot of excitement because you're not going to sit on the beach anymore. So, you know, we had a lot of pent-up energy from not running last year, and we're trying to expend it now.
But keeping a boat race ready, it means little spare time, even if the shop is close to home. That takes an understanding family.
Tanya is fantastic. She's been with boat racing as long as I have. Her father, I used to race against him quite often in limited boats. So she was brought up around boat racing. She understands it. She knows that I'm going to be at the shop late at night and 7 days a week and on the road come summertime to go boat racing. And my kids, they love this sport. My daughter's first words at about 12 months were a race boat. Trevi, he's 6. He's been to all but maybe 3 or 4 boat races in the last 6 years. Aubrey, she'll be 2 in August, and Kansas City a couple weeks ago was the first boat race she'd been to. So she loves it, though, and she's just a little bit on the wild side, so we got to break her in easy.
Mike admits there's more than a need for speed that drew him to this sport.
I love water. I guess that's one of my draws to boat racing to begin with is water itself. So when we're not boat racing or working at the shop, we're trying to find a lake or a stream to go fishing in.
But if there's such a thing as a home field advantage for Mike, it's right here in the Hoosier State.
The Indiana races are real important to us because we want to please those 13,000 owners. You know, everybody got their own ego and their own pride, and that includes the whole city of Madison. And, you know, I keep on hearing stories. I don't get to hear it, unfortunately, because of the enclosed cockpit. But every time the Madison boat goes down the beach in Madison, the whole crowd goes crazy. It doesn't matter if I'm going 200 miles an hour or 110, they're cheering. So it's neat to have that feeling. I just wish I could just take my ear out and listen to him one time.
Well, he'll have a chance maybe a week from now in Madison, Indiana.
And Mike Hanson will lead him in lane number 1 in Heat 1B in the Jasper Engines and Transmissions. Also in competition will be Mitch Evans in the Master Tire Whole Set Turbo, Miss Bustler Enterprises with Jerry Hopp at the wheel, and Ken Muscatel in his own Target Stores. As they come down now here on the Ohio River to start Heat 1B, let's quickly switch to Steve Montgomery, who's down at the Jasper docks.
Charlie Grooms is Mike Hanson's crew chief. Charlie, with this draw, the strategy is to get out ahead and then improve your position?
Not really, Steve. The plan is to get up front and just see what happens. We really don't know what Muscatel can do, though he qualified quite well, but we'll wait and see. The other guys on the outside, it'll be tough for them, but we're just looking to have a clean heat.
Well, it's clean right now, and that's the Jaspers out in the lead, Mike Hanson, and he's got to be feeling good about the ride of that boat. It has been repaired several times. It went over in Detroit earlier this year, but he apparently has everything together and going just right for him in this heat on the Ohio River. As we say, he is a guy that's a favorite son of the Hoosier State. There's good reason for him to be leading in this race in a home field advantage. Look at the battle for third place, though. As we look out on there, you've got really 3 boats in contention, all of them trying to take aim at third place. Right now, it is the Target Stores boat driven by Ken Muscatel, who is in second place. Following him should be the Miss Bustler with Jerry Hopp, and rounding out the field will be the Master Tire Whole Set Turbo driven by Mitch Evans.
Remember that all the preliminary heats are 3-lap sprints. The finale is 5 laps as we look at our leader coming off of quarter number 4.
Jasper's Engines and Transmissions, Mike Hanson. The boat owned by the city of Madison, Indiana. They have about 13,000 residents in Madison, Indiana, and boy, do they back this boat. A lot of them making the trip down to give a round of applause to their driver in Evansville, Indiana. Mike Hanson controls the boat. At this point, he knows he's in control of the race. He's not going to go out and try to break any equipment, and he's not going to break any speed records doing it. He's just going to hold off Ken Muscatel in this boat, the Target.
And this boat, the Jasper engines and transmission, looking for 400 points in the Eagle Snacks O'Doul's High Point Championship race and get a leg up on making the final here today in Evansville, Indiana.
This is the Target boat, and it looks like he's hitting some heavy waves out there. Ken Muscatel coming to a stop. It looked like he might have suffered some sponson damage. You can see on the right side, the sponson is cracked in. He might be taking on water. They better get to him fast with the rescue team. There's your checkered flag, meanwhile, for the winner. And look at this battle now for second place. Mitch Evans on the inside with that big Allison aircraft engine takes second place. Third goes off to the Miss Bustler, Jerry Hopp. And there you can see Target sitting in the water. This is the way they finished in Heat 1B. So a good leg up for Mike Hanson in Jaspers. The rescue team on board with Ken Muscatel.
That entire left sponson is gone, Dick. They're going to have to tow him back before he sinks. Let's go down to the winner's dock and Steve Montgomery.
Michael, it looked easy. How's the boat ride?
Well, actually, it's a pretty good boat ride, really. We got a few things we want to change for the next heat, but, you know, we didn't have to run it very hard that time. We got a pretty easy draw, and Muscatel wasn't the threat I thought he'd be, so we just kind of cruised around. We'll change things for next heat.
And they'll move you away to the outside.
Oh, I don't know if we'll be on our way to the outside, but, you know, when you got 400 points and go to the second heat, you get what's left.
Well, the Target boat is going to see what's left when they get back up to the dock, and we'll check in with them and get an update to see how severe the damage is. The winners of the first two races get last lane choice. How will they choose? We'll find out coming up next. Welcome back to Evansville, Indiana. Dick Crippen along with Jim Hendrick and Steve Montgomery. Pontiac's Thunder on the Ohio. Boy, does this river look like it has teeth? Ken Muscatel thinks so.
Last turn, second place in sight. Then what happened?
The left sponson just came off. In fact, I thought it took a little hop, and I looked, and the sponson was coming at me, and getting a little more up close and personal than I had in mind. We were disappointed because we were running better and better every time we went out, and we want to do a good job for Target stores. Hopefully we'll be back for Madison. I mean, it's all intact. It just came off in a big chunk. I can't explain it, except it's hard racing. It's an old boat.
Chip Hanauer, who usually drives the Miss Budweisers, watching all the action from the dock, but he was well enough to host our Eagle Snacks Performance Corner that'll be coming up later in the show. Let's go to the lineup for Heat 2A.
Lineup will be T-Plus engine treatment with Steve David, Miss Budweiser, Mark Evans, Jimmy King in the wellness plan, and Mike Hanson in Jasper's engine and transmission.
Jimmy King in the wellness plan on the inside of the course in lane number 1. As you can see now, Miss Budweiser's way on the outside, riding in third place. Mark Evans, the new driver in that boat. Off to the left-hand side, you can see the T-Plus boat of Steve David as they come around that turn. There's going to be a lot of competition for that first spot. Steve David has already won out here today. Now, you remember in Kansas City, we were talking about 7 different winners in 7 different heats. We'll see if that holds true in Evansville, Indiana.
Only half the prop of every one of these hydroplanes hits the water. The rest throws up a wall of water we call a rooster tail. Goes about 200 foot back and can go as high as 50 feet in the air. And has the strength of about 40 fire hoses hitting the fire at one time. It's really a weapon. And some boats have been known to climb right up a rooster tail and flip over.
Another way to look at it is that rooster tail puts out the equivalent of 7 tons of water, so the boat tends to interpret it as water. There you see through the cockpit of the Miss Budweiser, looking ahead to the rooster tail of one Stephen David being thrown off the back of the Miss T-Plus. You know, something else we might point out, too, we like to tell people that the amount of the boat, the surface of the boat actually touching the water is no larger than the size of a man's handkerchief, and that's pretty amazing at about 200 miles per hour.
This is, of course, the Jasper engine and transmission from Madison, Indiana, currently holding forth.
There's your lead boat giving a little wave to the crowd, maybe not intentionally, but they get a wave just the same. T-Plus, Stephen David, we've referred to it before in other races. He does like to drive the boat light.
149 miles an hour was his top speed, and he's averaging about 147.6 as he comes around for the checkered flag.
Steve David will take first this boat, the Miss Budweiser second. There you see your winner crossing the flag lap now. There's his dad, 80 years young, cheering his son on. There's your third place boat, Jimmy King in the Miss Wellness Plan. And rounding out the field, Jasper's Engines and Transmissions, driven by Mike Hanson. And there you see how the field finished up in this heat. Let's go down to the pit area now, where the winner is standing by with Steve Montgomery.
Yeah, exactly. Hey, guys.
So what we're learning here is the whole trick is to be on the inside.
Well, the shortest way around the race course seems to be the fastest for the T-Plus engine treatment group. But, you know, we're learning we can win from lane 2, and wherever we are in the final, we still feel real confident that T-Plus and R can come out a winner in this race.
Safety first and foremost in Unlimiteds, and of course fire is also a possibility on the race course. How do they fight that? In some cities with fireboats. This is a unique fireboat. It's a wave runner. Some of you would use it for recreational purposes, but in this particular case, it's a piece of firefighting equipment. At the stern is an intake, and water is dispersed through a diverter valve up to the front and can pump up to 450 gallons a minute at a distance up to 100 feet. There are only 3 in the whole world, and 2 of them are employed here in Evansville today.
If you're fortunate to be on site for one of these races in person, you're going to thrill to the Unlimiteds and the Unlimited Lights. Now, we'll see their final a little bit later today. But this particular boat, the Pegasus Pontiac, won Heat 2B yesterday, and I know that made one man from Pontiac very happy. Tom King, you head up the region, and you saw this thing perform.
Oh, I tell you what, Dick, this was very exciting to see the Pontiac Pegasus win that Heat 2B race yesterday.
Now they're in the finals. They go on from here, and Pontiac is very involved in this race, and I know they're very proud to be part of this big event in Evansville.
Well, Pontiac and the local Pontiac dealers in the tri-state area are very happy to be the title sponsors of the event, Pontiac Thunder in the Ohio. It's been a lot of fun for us. We've been doing it. This is our 2nd year, and I'm sure we're going to keep coming back.
We'll be back with more action from Evansville, Indiana on ESPN Speed World in just a moment.
Welcome back to Evansville, Indiana, where the fans are really enjoying some great unlimited hydroplane racing. Unlimited racing, like other kinds of racing, you have engine changes. That happens to be the subject of the Eagle Snacks Performance Corner with Chip Hanauer.
In IndyCar racing and NASCAR racing, it can take up to an hour and a half or 2 hours to change engines. That's because they have to take the rear end off, a lot of components off, before they can even get to the engine. Not so in unlimited hydroplane racing, when we can take an engine change in 15 to 20 minutes. That's because it's a complete package. In the package is the gearbox, the electrical lines, the oil fittings, the shafting, everything it takes to make an unlimited hydroplane run. So what we have here is a complete package that can be lifted up, put in the boat, fired off, ready to go. But one guy that never gets any credit in this whole process is the crane operator. He changes from week to week depending on where we are, and he plays a critical role in making this whole thing work perfect. One thing that's critical in this whole operation is the communication between the crane operator and the crew member. How do they do that? With hand signals. It's loud, there's boats on the race course. The crane itself makes a lot of noise. So the guy up on the deck of the boat is telling the crane operator everything he needs to be accurate and quick.
Well, as we look at the boats taking their warm-up laps for Heat 2B, earlier today we talked about how the current was so strong on this river that they actually had people in the water, the divers, holding the boats. Does it make a difference?
Jim, does the river current affect the boat setup at all?
Not generally, Steve. What happens is that there's so much slop from the skid fin water and the rudder and the propeller waste going through the turn that it pretty much stays the same whether we're racing on a lake or on a river. What generally will happen is that the current will carry some of the stuff that comes off the inside back into the middle of the race course, but it does it at each end of the course. So you just compensate for it like you would at any normal race, because the slop is always there in the turn regardless.
Jim Lucero, one of the men who's had a tremendous impact on the design of unlimited hydroplanes. Let's take a look at the boats that are in this race.
Jerry Hopp has lane 1 and Miss Bustler. In the Pico American Dream is Dave Vilwalk in slot number 2. Master Tire with Mitch Evans is in lane 3, and on the far outside, the pace boat Smoke and Joe's with Mark Tate.
And it's a green flag. It's going to be the battle between Smoke and Joe's on the far outside and Pico American Dream on lane 2. Pico American Dream has the lead going into the turn. We'll see now if he decides to move inside and get tight on the pins. No, instead he goes a little bit far on the outside. That means Smokin' Joe's has to go even further to the outside. He's got to keep his speed a little bit higher. Still, Pico American Dream is your lead boat. Smokin' Joe is now in second on the outside. That looks like one boat. There's actually two. The other one just behind him in the rooster tail. There you see Smokin' Joe's popping out.
They're coming down now to complete lap number 1 of 3, and Pico's American Dream is riding a little light on the front end. And I think Dave Villwock wants it that way. He's got to let it all hang out because he really has a fast boat on his hip in the Smokin' Joe's.
And I can tell you one thing, Mark Tate really wants to take some wins. He's been very frustrated by the season thus far. This is an opportunity for him to move up. There's the Miss Bustler, driven by Jerry Hopp. He is now holding on to 3rd place. Mitch Evans is rounding out the field in the Master Tire Whole Set Turbo.
And our Zodiac lap speed for lap number 1 for the Pico's American Dream, 144.431.
And he cannot let up at all. Look at the battle that is shaped up between these two boats. This is great unlimited hydroplane racing, and this is not the first time we've seen it this season. The new format changes have really made a difference. Coming head on at you on the right of your screen, the blue boat, Pico American Dream, the yellow and purple boat, Smokin' Joe's, Mark Tate out of Wayne, Michigan. Again, the battle ensues on the turn. Again, a little bit of room for Pico American Dream. There you see the 3rd place boat, Jerry Hopp in the Miss Bustler, followed by Mitch Evans in the Master Tire Whole Set Turbo. Boy, Mark Tate is really smelling something here. He wants that victory. Jim Lucero, we heard from him earlier, watching through the glasses, watching every move of the boat. We might also say, Jim, that these boats have computers on board, and when they come back to the dock, they download the computer. They can see what the engine did at various points on the course.
And as the finish checker flag is ready, it's going to be the 4th different winner here today in heat victories.
Dave Villwock, who's riding with a bum knee that he banged up before, takes the win in Pico American Dream, followed by Smokin' Joe. And there's the results of Heat 2B. A good run for Pico's American Dream. For Mark Tate, it's still a long, long day, just not the way he'd like it. Let's hear from the winner.
Dave, you and Mark have had some good races. That was another one. How tough was he that time?
He's always tough. You know, the Progressive Tool Company, you know, they put a lot into us, and you know, we keep coming back. We're on the ropes here a little bit. We didn't qualify as fast as we'd like to, but we got a good lane on them and found out that it's hard to get around this blue boat when it gets out front.
And we've got a long way to go with some great racing to come. Stay with us as we come back to Speed World at Thunder on the Ohio. Welcome back to Evansville, Indiana, where it's not just an unlimited hydroplane racing weekend, it is the Freedom Festival. That includes the annual parade, and that is one everybody looks forward to because, among other things, it includes some honored participants like the drivers and the owners and the commish. Oh, it's a great time. Everybody just kind of relaxes and they horse around just a little bit.
Now let's go from horses to horse bar as we get ready for Heat 3A. 4 heats, 4 winners. Somebody's due. Let's go down to the pits and Steve Montgomery.
Steve, starting with the draw, you've had to come from the outside all day. Now, a win here would change that for the final, but can you get around Mark Evans?
Well, I can't, but maybe Mark Tate can. It's rough. It's real rough out there with this inverted lane deal. It makes it really rough, but it makes it awful good for the fan.
And 4 boats, Mark Evans in Miss Budweiser, Mark Tate in Smokin' Joe's, Steve David in the T+, Mike Hanson in the Jasper engine and transmissions. Now let's go to Steve Montgomery with last week's Budweiser driver.
Chip, realistically, Mark is probably about where you'd be right now.
Yeah, I think we're in great shape. You know, I think we can win this heat because he has the inside lane, and if we win this heat, we have the inside lane for the final, so we're in good shape.
Has he had any questions for you today at all?
No, he's pretty much, you know, done it his way and done a great job. So I've just been eating corn dogs and relaxing.
Well, the bet is as they come down to take the start, it's going to be the battle between the Smokin' Joe's and the Miss Budweiser. This time around, we'll see how Mark Tate handles it. There's the green flag on the far outside, the Jasper's boat, driven by Mike Hanson. But there's your battle up front, right off the bat. The Miss Budweiser on the inside, the Red Rocket. On the outside, the yellow and purple boat of the Smokin' Joes. Look at how both boats are holding their lanes extremely well. Mark Tate knows that it's a little tough to hold a boat on the inside, so he's going to make him stay very strong in lane number 1. He doesn't want him straying out of it at all.
Mark Tate will not give Mark Evans on the inside any room at all. He's going to make him maintain lane 1. And that is going to be a tough job for Mark Evans because he's not really used to this Miss Budweiser boat. This is his first day of competition.
It certainly is, and he's doing a great job, as Chip Hanauer just told you. These boats come into the turn. We talk about average speed with these boats. Allow for the fact that as they hit the turn, another rooster tail goes up off of the skid fin. You'll see it here in a moment. That is resistance in the water. There you can see it pop up on the Miss Budweiser and then Smokin' Joe's. That resistance actually slows the boat down. So when we give you an average speed, that is not the top speed on the lap. These boats are kind of going sideways into the turn.
Our Zodiac clock shows the Miss Budweiser, lane number 1 at 151 and 149 for Smokin' Joe's.
They are really putting on a show, side-by-side competition. Now the Miss Budweiser in the lead, but just by about a boat length and a half. That's the way it's been the entire race, except at the very beginning when Smokin' Joe's was side-by-side. As they come around, third place goes to T+. T+ on this lap, holding very solid in there. He's got his points on the day. Jasper's in 4th place. Again, he's got his points to get into the final. Those boats are safe. There's no sense tearing up equipment. We had enough of that in Kansas City a week ago.
And you can see the difference now between your first and second place boat. Miss Budweiser now with about a 9-boat length lead as Mark Tate and the Smokin' Joe camp says, hey, we'll pick up 300 points for second and get in the final. Here's our view from the third place boat, the T+.
Miss Budweiser coming around the final turns now. We're getting ready for the checkered flag to go out. This will be a very happy time, and this is the first repeat win of the day. So this is the first time today we've had the same boat win. Miss Budweiser took the first race of the day, Heat 1A, coming back now to take the final of the qualifying heats, and they have done a good job with that boat. Mark Evans has done a good job driving it. You saw Smokin' Joe's in second. Here comes T+ for third. Bernie Little very happy. He's kind of waving out to the driver. Slow it down a little bit now. We're all finished. We don't want to rip up any equipment. Here are the final results in Heat 3A. We have one more heat of racing to get the rest of the field for the championship run.
Yeah, you did good.
Mark, you tried the outside and the inside. Which one you like best?
Well, I definitely prefer lane 1, that's for sure. In this race course, boat handles really well there. We can get through the rough, and it just goes like a rocket.
That's where you're going to be in the final, but you'll have a lot of speed chasing you.
Yeah, the guys are going to be real aggressive in the final, but I think the Budweiser will be too, so I know I'm ready to be aggressive.
You got Bernie smiling.
Yeah, that's not easy.
They're already getting the boat ready for the championship heat. Hey, here are a couple of guys who've driven the red boat. Bet they're talking about golf. We'll be back. Welcome back to Evansville, Indiana. Dick Crippen along with Jim Hendrick and Steve Montgomery. Jimmy King and the wellness plan going out on the course for Heat 3B. He'll be looking for a spot in the championship final later today. Keep up on the entire Unlimited season. Join the winner's circle by calling the toll-free number on your screen. Get a URC patch, newsletter, media guide, and for a limited time, get this Unlimited t-shirt. Plus, the Diamond P Video Thunderboats. Call today and become an insider of the fastest sport on water.
Now checking the lineup for 3B. On the inside, it'll be Mitch Evans in the Master Tire whole set. In lane 2, it'll be Dave Villwock and Pico's American Dream. Lane 3, Miss Bustler, Jerry Hoppin. On the outside, Jimmy King in the wellness plan.
And there's the start of the race. The green flag has flown over the course. The battle right now is up front between Mitch Evans and Dave Villwock. Evans on the inside in that aircraft-powered boat using the big Allison engine. The only piston boat left on the circuit. The turbine has taken charge. That is the boat driven by Dave Villwock, Pico's American Dream. Mitch Evans has fallen back for second as they go down the backstretch.
As they come down that backstretch, Pico's American Dream is so out front, so far right now, got such a jump. The battle is really back there for second place.
And that battle has the Miss Wellness plan coming up into second place, taking it away from Jerry Hoppin, Miss Bustler, who's now battling Mitch Evans on the inside. There's your leader, Pico's American Dream. There's the Wellness plan, now in second place. And look at the battle for third. Mitch Evans has moved back up into third. So Jerry Hopp now in fourth place. That battle's going back and forth.
Zodiac Sports Watch speed for lap number 1 for Pico's American Dream, 139 miles an hour.
Jim, he's out far enough in front right now that he can be comfortable, but he better keep an eye in his rearview mirror because Miss Wellness Plan with Jimmy King is slowly closing in on him. He's trying to catch him to get more points to get into that final battle and get himself a good position. Meanwhile, that battle for third continues. Mitch Evans just hanging in there in the Master Tire Whole Set Turbo. That is the piston-powered boat. And look at him as he battles Jerry Hopp. Jerry is the boat closest to you. Mitch Evans is on the inside. Jerry Hopp and Miss Bustler, for the moment, is in third place.
And look at the Master Tire with Mitch Evans and the Miss Bustler time with Jerry Hopp driving. Very close.
These two boats are battling for the final position in the championship race. So whichever one takes that spot is going to be a win. You can see it there. They are nose to nose going into the turn. Good driving by both of these guys, and I think no matter who takes that spot, Mitch Evans and that crew with Coopers deserves a tremendous amount of credit. They've really got that boat running. This boat is running near perfection. Pico's American Dream with Dave Vilwalk still the leader. He has taken it off turn number 1 and now is coming home to see the checkered flag in his future. He wants that win. He wants the accumulation of points overall, but most of all, he wants to get a good lane choice for the championship heat. It appears now that Bustlers is going to take the third spot.
Hey, Dick, the Master Tire has just went out. You couldn't see him because of the rooster tail. Mitch Evans is dead in the water in corner number 4.
Well, that's not the way he wanted to finish the race for sure. First place went to Pico American Dream, and he will now get himself a prime position in the final race of the day for the championship. There are the results. Wellness Plan second, and Bustler was in third place.
Nose damage inspection for the Master Tire Whole Set Turbo as Mitch Evans looks on. Let's go down to Steve.
Jimmy, does that put you in the final?
We're not sure. We got to do the calculations yet, or somebody's got to tell us. We're hoping so, but the one boat's in, and that's what counts.
Good job, 1-2, just where we like it.
David, you'll have second lane choice, but you like lane 2.
Lane 2 looks good for us. You know, the Progressive Tool team's done a great job in getting this boat up front. You know, even dealt with some bad cards for the weekend. They're still keeping in the race every time, so real proud of them.
We're ready now for the championship race. These boats are going to be prepared, and they will decide the winner of the championship on the day. Let's go down to Steve with Jerry Hopp, who's very happy.
Jerry, it looked like you knew you needed to beat Mitch to make the final, huh?
Yeah, we added all the points up. We kind of knew that was going on all day. They had us by 19 points going into this heat. We had enough points to beat the Wellness Plan, and of course Pico's had already outdone us, so we knew we had to beat Mitch. He had lane 1 and I had lane 3, and I knew it was at a disadvantage. Just hold her to the floor and keep going.
This boat gets faster all the time. This has been your fastest weekend.
Oh yeah, it has. Well, it takes time to get used to any boat you're driving, you know, and the crew's working on little things. Every time we test, we try something different and either stabilize the thing more or make it a little faster, and all the parts of the puzzle are coming together. Started 3 heats, finished 3 heats. We're in the final for the Miss Bustler and town of Evansville and all the fans. I think it's great. I think we're just having a great time.
We will crown a champion in Pontiac's Thunder on the Ohio next. Welcome back to Evansville, Indiana. Dick Griffin along with Jim Hendrick and Steve Montgomery. The checkered flag, that's what they all go for. Well, we talked about them earlier. We thought we'd give you a look at them in action. These are the Unlimited Lights. These boats are traveling the entire Unlimited circuit with us, so if we invite you to one of the Unlimited races around your area, you're going to see these boats also. The battle right off the bat in this particular final race for the Unlimited Lights today, the RC Cola boat, owned by Alan Vordermeyer out of Fort Lauderdale, Florida, driven by Mike Mamano out of Webster, New York. The boat on the outside, the yellow boat, is the Pegasus Pontiac, Mark Webber. I want to tell you that the Unlimited boats use the big turbine engines. The Unlimited Lights use automobile engines. That's a Ford powering the RC Cola and a Pontiac, obviously, in the Pegasus Pontiac boat. They really put on a good show. They bounce a lot more than the Unlimiteds do. A lot of the drivers that are now in the Unlimiteds came up through a class of boats just like this one. Great shot of Mike Mamano out of Webster, New York, as he powers that number 9, the RC Cola boat for Alan Vordermeyer. He has taken a rather sizable lead at this point over the second place Pegasus Pontiac boat, Mark Webber. These drivers are racing all over the country. They have specifically come in with the Unlimited Light Series to run with the Unlimited Hydroplanes, but you're liable to see races with these kind of boats all over the country almost every weekend. Great shot as the boat comes airborne through the turn. You see how that pocket of air gets underneath the boat. You can literally see from front to back. And as you look at that front to back shot with the RC Cola boats, you can see the bottom half of that propeller in the water throwing up the rooster tail. The rooster tail on these boats not quite as big as the Unlimiteds, but they still get plenty of torque and plenty of power. So your final finish sees the RC Cola boat taking the championship in the Unlimited Light Series. And let's check the scoreboard for your competition cam's Unlimited Light finish as the checkered flag flies high. There's the results. Mike Mamano very, very happy. Let's join him with Steve Montgomery down at the docks.
We did it.
Guys, there's our first two-time winner in the 1995 Unlimited Lights. Mike, you won in Detroit. How does that river compare with this one?
This is like a mill pond. Detroit is something. You can't compare the two. This was pretty. It was a little rough here, but it was very decent.
Now you go on to Madison and try it again.
That's right. Yeah, Madison, I guess, is just down the road, so hopefully we'll have the same situation.
The final field is set for the Pontiac Thunder on the Ohio as the drivers concentrate, including Jimmy King. Also, Dave Villwock. T-Plus driver, Steve David, winner last week. Mark Tate looking for his first win of the year in Smokin' Joe's. Jerry Hopp in the Miss Bustler. It'll be Mark Evans in the Miss Budweiser. Mike Hanson in the Jasper Engines and Transmission entry.
A great field of boats, a great field for big-time racing. We're going to crown a champion when we come back to Evansville, Indiana for Pontiac Thunder on the Ohio on Speed World. Welcome back to Pontiac Thunder on the Ohio River, Evansville, Indiana. The man who had first lane choice was Mark Evans. Jim, where did he end up?
Well, he took the inside lane, lane number 1. That'll be the Miss Budweiser, driven by Mark Evans. In lane number 2, it'll be the Pico's American Dream, driven by Dave Villwock. Right in the middle is Mark Tate in the Smokin' Joe's in lane 3. Steve David, winner last week in the T-Plus, will take the 4th slot, while Mike Hanson on his right will be in lane number 5 in Jasper Engines. Miss Bustler with Jerry Hopp is on the far outside, and the trailer position, Jimmy King in the Wellness Plan.
All the boats are on the water. All the boats are ready for the start. Let's see if we get the green flag as they come down. They do. There it is. The green flag has flown. Right off the bat, we've got a battle for the lead. And it's 3 boats locked together on the inside. Miss Budweiser, Smokin' Joe's in lane 3. And in lane number 2, Pico American Dream. On the far outside, the T-Plus, Stephen David. Those 4 boats break away from the rest of the pack. Mark Evans aboard the Miss Budweiser, really doing a job. He has got that boat in perfect command. Remember, this is his first day of competition in this boat. Here he is in the championship heat in lane number 1, battling who else? Mark Tate in the Smokin' Joe's, among others. Mark happens to be up in 2nd place right now. Don't count out Pico's American Dream, though. Dave Villwock swings to the inside. Villwock going for lane number 1.
And right through the rooster tail of Miss Budweiser, he's got lane 1. Budweiser now starting out on lap number 205, averaged 144 mile an hour on lap number 1.
He can't back off it at all either. This time they don't care about injuring the equipment. They're not worried about that. They don't have to race for another week when they go up to Madison, Indiana. So it's all out. Keep that pedal to the metal. In this case, the Miss Budweiser trying to hold off Mark Tate in Smokin' Joe's. Tough racing, a tough course, a course that can change on you at any time. Look at the flight of the Miss Budweiser, literally flying sideways across the water. Mark Tate is usually the one that's very light. Uh-oh, they've got a caution flag out. Miss Wellness Plan has gone down on the water. That's a sad break for Jimmy King in his first day of racing in the Miss Wellness Plan.
The Miss Budweiser starting to plow water here in lap number 3. Look out, here comes Smokin' Joe.
Mark Tate taking advantage of every bit of course that he can and every bit of speed that the Smokin' Joe's has. Mark Tate just now about half a boat length ahead. Now he takes it by more than a boat length. Steve Boomer, the owner of the the boat had said earlier that if they were going to lose it, they were going to lose it going as fast as they possibly could. Well, right now, that speed is benefiting Mark Tate because he's got Smokin' Joe's in the lead. The Budweiser trying to hold on to second place. Again, it looked like the Budweiser was plowing water, looking through the windshield. That's exactly what was happening.
And I'll tell you, parts of the Budweiser are coming off on the right side. We have a little over one more lap to go.
Smokin' Joe is in the lead. Smokin' Joe in command. Mark Tate doing a great job of driving, taking advantage of every ounce that boat has to offer. Meanwhile, Mark Evans is trying to power on with the Miss Budweiser, but as you can see, Mark Tate is in the lead, and he is distancing himself between first and second. So Mark Tate has it going. Look at the Miss Budweiser on the top of your screen. There she goes. That's it. It's over. Miss Budweiser is dead in the water. We think there are parts that have flown off the boat. We don't know if she's taking on water. You can see inside there was water all over the windshield. Bernie Little very disappointed, understandably so. Mark Evans was doing a great job. But let's not take anything away from Mark Tate. He has done a great job all day, but he has not won all day. The crew is going crazy down in the pit area as they cheer it home. There's the checkered flag out for Mark Tate, his first championship of the 1995 season. Pico American Dream second, T Plus third place. Miss Budweiser sits very disappointed.
Steve, something finally went your way today.
Oh, boy, we need a little luck there. Mark was driving the thing to the edge all the way around there, and we got that little break. And, well, win's a win. We'll take it.
Good job.
Our Fruit of Loom final scoreboard today shows Smokin' Joe's Mark Tate the winner for the first time in 1995.
Well, it was a great drive for Mark Tate. Let's go down to the pits.
Well, Mark, it was your turn, and things finally went your way today.
Well, we definitely got a break. I mean, we had a good boat all day, and, you know, Budweiser had an advantage in the first two heats of the inside, and he had an advantage there, but we weren't going to give up. We were just going to chase as hard as we could, and, you know, their boat came apart. I really don't know what happened to it out there. It's a shame, but Mark Evans did a great job, but I can't be happier for the Smokin' Joe Camo Power team, and we've been close all year, and well-deserved by my whole team.
Tightened up the national high point chase by a lot.
Well, that's our main goal ahead of us for the rest of the year, to stay competitive and win some of these things and tighten up that gap some more and hopefully bring that thing where it belongs, to the Camo Power Smokin' Joe.
Yeah! So checking the standings for the Eagle Snacks O'Doul High Point race. Positions remain the same, but the race is a lot tighter.
It certainly is, and it's going to continue tighter as we head to Madison, Indiana next. A disappointing day for Jimmy King. A little bit disappointing also for Mark Evans, needless to say, but he had a good day up to the last race.
Mark, what the heck happened that time?
Well, we blew part of the boat apart. I don't know if the runner came off first or what, but most of the right side of the boat's pretty well damaged. And God, we had him covered. Thing was running really well, and I felt her bite a couple times, but until I heard word to slow down, I wasn't about to do that.
Another incredible race. Next stop on the tour is the Indiana Governor's Cup from Madison, Indiana. And we'll have it here on ESPN. For Steve Montgomery and Jim Hendrick, I'm Dick Crippen. The 1995 Hooters Unlimited Hydroplane Series is sanctioned by the American Powerboat Association and is a production of Diamond P Sports in association with ESPN.